suggested that congressional Republicans had led groups of visitors on so-called recon missions on the Capitol on January 5th, 2021. Remember that? Now, the implication was obvious that Republicans, elected officials, were in on the plot. They were insurrectionists themselves, yes. Well, the smears all began just 1 week after January 6th.
What we're learning about Loudermilk is that he was part of a direct lie to the public and perhaps to the committee.
I think Loudermilk will probably take the Fifth Amendment. I mean, this guy's pants look like they're on fire.
This is amount to a seditious conspiracy. Is this the kind of thing that might warrant the consideration of expulsion from the House of Representatives?
Can always count on Charlie Psycho. Well, these comments were disgusting even before what we learned tonight. Loudermilk, we find out, did nothing wrong. In a letter to House Administration Committee ranking member Rodney Davis, Capitol Police Chief Tom Manger wrote that officers had reviewed security footage and found no evidence that Loudermilk entered the Capitol with the group of constituents at all.
Okay, so that's Laura Ingraham, also with Representative Barry Loudermilk, who apparently led an entire group of folks throughout the Capitol the day before January 6th. We've been hearing about this, but the reason why I'm coming back to this is because there's so much that's going on with it and his lies that have flowed out from it. And it continued on even into last night because he went back on Laura Ingram's show. But in this particular instance, this was on Wednesday night when he was trying to push back on some of these accusations. She invited him on, and he then had this to say as well in his own defense.
First of all, your reaction to the developments tonight, and you're cleared, but CNN says, oh, not so fast.
You know, the original charge was we gave tours of the Capitol. There were no tours of the Capitol that day. Video evidence is there were no tours of the Capitol. Then they say, oh, it was of the Capitol complex. There were hundreds of people in the Capitol complex, the House office buildings. In fact, it was the Democrat leadership ordered the gift shop open on the 5th because there were so many visitors there. So Mickey Sherrill's accusation that there were no tours allowed, well, there were no tours allowed at the Capitol, but there were plenty of people at the House office buildings because it was just another day. And now, when it comes out, and no mistake about it, the Capitol Police were clear that they are trained in looking for suspicious activity, and the group I had in the House office buildings did nothing suspicious.
I mean, it was a total lie.
That should close the door on it. You know, the original charge.
It has.
At all. Then the group that I had there never did anything suspicious. So did you give a tour or did you not give a tour? Because you said you had a group there with you. By the way, he also put it in writing. I want to make sure you guys see the documentation of his lies. He says, breaking, the truth will always prevail. This is like on Tuesday or Wednesday. As I've said since the January 6th committee made their baseless accusation about me in the media, I never gave a tour of the Capitol on January 5th, 2021. Now keep that in mind. If you had never given a tour of anyone on January 5th of 2021, you probably wouldn't know anything about a tour. You wouldn't know any details. You wouldn't know about what people were doing. You wouldn't know what they were taking pictures of if you didn't give a tour. By the way, let's go back just to that one clip really fast, because what was that about? I want to highlight to you guys. He says, I didn't give a tour. Then he said, I gave one. Listen one more time. I cut it down.
You know, the original charge was we gave tours of the Capitol. There were no tours of the Capitol that day.
A few moments later.
No mistake about it. The Capitol Police were clear that they are trained in looking for suspicious activity, and the group I had in the House office buildings did nothing suspicious.
I mean, it was a total lie.
That should close the door on it.
I didn't have a tour, but then the tour I had didn't do anything suspicious. So of course, as we saw also yesterday, the January 6th committee did release a bit of this video about one of those folks that was on his phantom tour that didn't do anything, that didn't take any pic. We haven't got to that part yet because he lied about that too. Let's see what the January committee put forward.
It has begun here at the Washington Monument, Washington, D.C. Say hello to Facebook.
Hey, what's going on, man? Glad to be here, bro.
This is our fearless leader.
Hey, baby.
Barry Hamilton.
Check out my flag I made, guys. You see it? There you go, baby. That's for a certain person.
That's right. That's for somebody special. Somebody special. All right. We are basically at the Capitol with probably close to 2 million true American patriots. There's no escape, Pelosi, Schumer, Nadler, We're coming for you. We're coming in like white on rice. For Pelosi, Nadler, Schumer, even you, AOC, we're coming to take you out.
Okay, Loudermilk did not give a tour, then he gave a tour. The people on the tour were not going to stop, but it was silent as the second part of this whole thing. They took pictures of things like stairways and hallways and security checkpoints. Next day, one of those people that was on that tour was then talking like, we're coming for you, Nadler, AOC, Pelosi, Schumer, we're coming to get you. We're like white on rice. We're gonna snatch you out of there by your hair. You're gonna be balding. All that stuff continued on. I just couldn't continue to go through all of it. So this is still born from that whole thing. Again, skip SOT 5. We're gonna go to 6 because when asked about it, Loudermilk then somehow remembered the tour again. It had details of what this tour was doing that he didn't really give. Watch.
No, actually, what they were taking a picture of is I took the family, and of course the other folks were with them, have 2 young kids that wanted to see the little trains that take congressmen. So I took them to show them where the trolley was in the Rayburn Tunnel.
But why do you think pictures were being taken of a stairwell, around security?
If you go to that stairwell, there's a golden eagle sconce that's on the wall. That's what he was taking a picture of. I mean, these are folks who had never been to Washington, D.C. And they were here to visit their congressman, and they were excited.
Why not just speak to the committee and just...
Because the committee's never called me and asked me anything.
They sent a letter asking for your
voluntary
cooperation.
They never sent it to me.
Your office never received it?
No, never. Never received the letter, never received a phone call, never received an email. They sent it to you guys.
2 big lies there as well. First of all, they took pictures of the stairs, security checkpoints, the little trains is what people want to see coming through. Let's see those pictures. Again, if you have nothing to hide, why can't we see what was taken? This can be easily shown to us rather than listening to you, who've already proven 4 times now that you're a liar. Okay, but the second part about that, the next is, how come they didn't come and talk to me? Because he also said this on Laura Ingraham show. They didn't come talk to me. They didn't send me anything. They didn't call me. They could have just reached out to me. What they're trying to do is sabotage me. Graphic number 2. The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th insurrection said Thursday, by the way, this article is from May 19th. Said Thursday that it has evidence that Republican Representative Barry Loudermilk, that same guy we just saw, led a tour of the US Capitol complex the day before pro-Trump rioters stormed the building, according to a letter requesting the Republican lawmakers' voluntary cooperation with their ongoing probe. Weird, they didn't send me a letter. I didn't run a tour. Oh, I did run a tour. They weren't taking pictures of anything. They weren't being violent and aggressive. We saw that all revealed as a lie. Let's get a few shots of this letter, just in case people think that CNN was lying in that video. We don't have to read the letter, but here's some images of that letter. There was 2 pages worth where they said, hey, you had these guys in the Capitol on January 5th. The next day it was attacked. Who are those guys? Would you like to talk to us? Apparently he never got that letter because they didn't send me a letter. Lastly, Waz, I apologize for how long this is taken, but this is the sheer number of lies Representative Loudermilk has told. He went back on Laura Ingraham's show last night, and he had the most ironic thing to say after all of these lies he's obviously told. Watch.
Has anyone pressured you to change your story about this?
Oh, absolutely not, and I won't, because there is a war on the truth in this country right now, and we have to stand for the truth. The easiest thing for me to do would just been lay down and go dark. I'm not going to do that. We have to stand for truth and right if we're going to save this country.
Wise words for someone whose name is not Barry Loudermilk. What's your thoughts, Wise?
I love that initial video of him talking to, that press corps where he's fumbling and stumbling. It's like a little kid who got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. And here's the problem for Loudermilk. It's either you were completely on board with these guys coming in and doing what they did with this footage and all of that, or you were a patsy, you're an idiot. Like, these guys came in with you and essentially cased the joint as if they were about to commit a heist like Ocean's 11. Like, it's ridiculous. It's obvious, like, oh no, people take pictures of stairwells all the time. Like, the stairwell in this building is just so beautiful, and it's got that eagle, and like, come on, this guy knows what happened. And I don't even care, guilt by association, this guy should be dealt with. Like, the people that you brought into the Capitol later came in and committed crimes. Like these fools got locked up behind the stuff that they did. So yeah, this guy should be dealt with 100%.
Imagine you're a 17-year-old kid, you pick up your buddies, maybe they're older and like, hey, come drive us to this place, we're gonna go hang out. And then they take you somewhere where they commit a crime. And then you continue to drive off when they run back out of the place. You know what happens? You're a part of that crime. You can go to the cops and say, I had no idea what they were gonna do. And they said, so why were you with them? What is your association with them? What else have you done with them? These guys are criminals. We've proven that they're criminals. So you're a criminal too. You're going down the same way the rest of them are. Why does that work for a random street crime, but it does not work for representatives like this? Again, you can be exonerated if you show us what those guys took pictures of, what was said, and all that stuff. That was asked of you from that letter that you never received, but you did receive from the January 6th committee. The lies are abundant, and it's obvious he's hiding something. I wouldn't think you're hiding something if you weren't hiding something, if you just said everything that was happening. Okay, I think it's pretty much concluded where this guy stands.